Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, I just saw the movie Samaritan on Amazon Prime with Sylvester Stallone, and you made a face like, ooh.
Like Sylvester Stallone is still alive. Good for
And
him.
yes.
Okay.
Now, I gotta ask again, when an actor makes a movie, Stallone's still a big guy, right? He's a
Yeah.
top name, wouldn't you say? When
I
they
mean, what
tell
would
him
I know? But I know his name, so that's a big deal
right,
to me. Yeah.
and then they go, okay, the movie's ready. It's like, oh, where's the premiere? And they go, Amazon. Is he like, fuck, was it that bad? Not the shit
Oh,
on Amazon, but just streaming. It's a superhero movie. It's Sylvester Stallone. And they go, "Oh, we're going to sell this to the streaming services." That's got to be a bummer for an otherwise A-list actor, right?
I get that, but people talk about that in the workplace, like in offices, they have forced retirements, which seems it's one of those perspective things. Like, wait, they're pushing you out to give you money to go and live your life outside of work. I feel like, oh, they're letting you have a movie. You're 102 years old, and then streaming it on one of the most popular streaming sites that people have.
If it was another Rocky movie and he
Mhm.
was only in it for 5 minutes, that would be in movie theaters. My point is, I saw this movie. It is god awful. If
Mm.
you're going to get the electric chair and they go, what do you want for your last meal? You go, how about last movie? Because this movie, although it's only like an hour and 45 minutes, it feels like it's 7 months. You can live a whole life watching this piece of shit. So it's not that they're done with Stallone and have to throw him a bone. They tried to make a movie, and this is the shit that it came up with. And
Really?
I wonder if this is going to ruin movies because when people know things are streaming, they put less money into it. And then that's the shit that you're stuck with. And so it's like, well, why should we go back to the movie theaters if this is the shit? No, that's not the shit. They'll
Mm.
put good thing in movie theaters. They just have to wait a little bit because you guys aren't coming out, and you're not coming out because you're giving Samaritan a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes because you're like, at least I got something. At least water comes out my tap. No, the critics are right. 40% tops. Tops.
Mimi Cherry is saying Stallone had a mortgage to pay. So
Okay, then do a good movie and pay off all three mortgages.
what is this movie about? Is it action at
It's
all?
it's action. It's a superhero movie, and it's just so. You know what? It's one of these movies where one character, a character says something to another character to move the plot along, but you're
Mm.
like, that character wouldn't know this. I know it
Mm.
because I was watching the movie, but you don't know that. You're just speeding it along.
I feel that way when I watch the movie Spanglish over and over again. Yes, it's a very, very good movie. And okay, so it's from the point of view of the daughter who starts off around like 8 years old or whatever,
That's with
or
Adam
or
Sandler,
five.
right? Adam
Yeah, but
Sandler.
let's not hold it against the movie.
Okay.
Okay. He only acts like Adam Sandler for like 5 minutes and we forgive him and then we move on.
Taya
Right.
Leone, she's the uptight runner.
She is perfect. She is
Okay.
perfect in that role. Yes. And so, okay, so it's from the point of view of the daughter that we're watching grow up, and now she's writing her entrance exam to a college. And who's
Mm.
your hero? My mother, right? And so she worked as a maid for this family, blah blah blah, and she falls in love with spoiler Adam Sandler. Why? Who wouldn't? Oh boy.
Right.
And then she has a scene where the mom and Adam Sandler go off and almost have a love affair, and they have this food and it's romantic and all this stuff, and I'm like, did your mother tell you about this? This is a lot of like heat and love and
The
affair.
daughter's writing about 9.5 weeks.
Right. It's just like, my mother, she's the best. Look at the love she generated without even giving away her poon. I don't know. It was weird. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Also, who's allowed to make superhero movies except for like, the DC and the MCU and the whatever
Well, you're
other.
also right. You either got to really dumb it down where you don't really see the superheroes' powers, or you have the money that Marvel and DC have, and you can have huge explosions. But you
Mm.
can't do. At least I'm coming off of the Samaritan. You can't kind of try with the money you have to blow through a wall because we know when you can or can't. You
Mm.
know, even the new Batman movie everybody loved. That's just him in a Batman outfit, but he's solving puzzles. But
I see.
okay,
So it
you can
has to
do
be
that.
So it has to be
Wolverine, you can
like,
be that Wolverine one that everybody loved where he dies. There's not much action in that, and that's what people loved about it. So it could be one or the other. Fucking $6 billion or a handshake. And Samaritan tried, and they should have known better.
they shouldn't have spit in their hand first.
And then
We're not going
sometimes
all the way yet.
there'll be a dumb line like halfway through, and I'm like, yeah, you don't care either now. Because you already saw the first half you made. You can't redo that because that did cost some money. And now you're just stuck, and we wonder if Stallone knows it yet.
These are the behind the scenes that you would ask about, not like, did you get along with the director, your boss, and essentially the person who's going to tell everybody else if it was fun working with you? You didn't. Interesting. And you're just going to talk live on TV about that.
Right.
Sure.
When
Yeah.
did you know this would stream? Sylvester Stallone superhero. It's just interesting. You know, I turn on a stream movie. I'm like, well, this will blow. Here we go.
Mm.
Why not? Speaking of Mimi Cherry and TV, Dancing with the Stars has a new ouster. They kicked
Oh,
somebody
no.
else
You're
out.
too excited. I don't like how excited you are.
The first one was, of course, some dude from Sex and the City.
Right.
Samantha's
Jared.
boyfriend, I
Jared
believe.
Smith.
Jared, quote, Jared Smith.
Yeah.
Today, week 2.
Are you excited because you're being an asshole?
We're both okay. So we believe, me and Chemda, that Jordan Sparks will win because she was in some version, if not the actual version, of In the Heights. And you got to dance if you're in that. I picked, for my top 2, Wayne Brady and Shangela.
And surprise, Mimi Cherry's picking Shangela. We know all like your whole shit is drag. We get. I'm looking at your avatar right now. Who are you gonna pick?
So then Mimi Cherry writes to Shangela on Twitter and includes my name and goes, Keith, I'll bet that Shangela's gonna win. Well, no offense to the Allahs, but I'm not going to tell this family publicly, no, I don't, over Twitter. I mean, directly to their house. Yeah, I'll take a bet on that. But if Shangela's not listening right now and you don't tweet her, I will bet you Shangela will not win up to $6 million, Mimi Cherry. And she won't because America can't handle it. It's nothing transphobic or anything like this on my part. I know she's a drag queen. I'm excited. Is she going to come as her male self sometimes, as a female self? Because that's going to blow America's mind. She definitely won't win if she does that. But these are I think my top 2, especially Wayne Brady, will be Chemda's top 2 of Selma Blair.
Thank you.
People are going to get over those pity claps, I think. Beautiful, MS, and you're dancing. An inspiration to all of us with MS who obviously need to dance. But I don't think that can go to the top. And she also picked Gabby Windy. I understand she was a cheerleader. That excited Chemda.
A professional football cheerleader.
Yes.
They
don't even show them on TV.
They don't even pay them.
That's passion.
That's how, yeah. And they test them every fucking second of the day.
They throw them up in the air, and the coach goes, you know, you pay your own health insurance, right? You don't.
And
have
she's
to
like,
really
yay, and arms wide and a V for victory.
And I think she was a recent bachelorette, and she's not, or maybe she hosted one sometime. I'm hearing things that she's a little out there. So we'll see. Again, Chemda, Selma, and Gabby, me, Wayne, and Shangela. Also a side bet up to $6 million with Mimi if she wants to take it. That Shangela won't win number 1. And Jordan Sparks, of course, is looking good. Ousted this week, Teresa Giudice.
Is that a housewife?
That's the housewife with
Right.
the painted on, chipped away face.
Well, come on. That was.
Well, what are they going to do on a Thursday? They're not doing housework, right? I don't see the show. I don't know. I'm really asking. What do you think they do? I'm kidding. I know the answer. They get face work. What else is there to do? Steal somebody's earrings? You're getting face work because it's Sunday night. Anyway, so far we're so good is what I mean. Nobody owes anybody money.
Well, Kinsley's saying, I've loved Selma Blair since Cruel Intentions. Well, you're a perv, and that's fine.
Too,
that's fine.
Me too.
Yeah. That was, oh my God, that kiss in that movie was talked about so much. Talk about more innocent times, you know? Like, this is before my Anaconda Don't Want None, you know, and that's even rated G now. So, yeah, this kiss blew everybody's mind. 2 women, first of all.
Saliva.
There was, I think SNL did something where like one piece of saliva was hanging like that spaghetti piece on
Right.
that dog movie. My
Yeah.
God, silent trailers, you guys. There's another one coming in October.
But I hear what this listener is saying. I love the Alyssa Milano ever since Poison Ivy 3. Yeah, they have these iconic roles and they stick with you. I understand that, of course. Following a furious backlash, Netflix is no longer using the LGBTQ tag on its controversial series about Jeffrey Dahmer. So there's a TV show now on Netflix called Monster: The Jeffrey Dahmer Story. Evan Peters plays it. I think it was also produced by somebody who did American Horror Story, which Evan Peters has always been in. Jeffrey Dahmer killed and chopped 17 men, several of whom were gay. Yeah, I think Netflix didn't understand what the LGBT tag meant.
It just means someone's gay.
This guy's gay. No, I think it means this is gay friendly. Maybe Netflix is saying it's a warning. The murder's sick, but let me give you a trigger warning. Gay.
Yeah, I think it's more like flag waving pride than, hey, there's one of yous in here. Hey, you might recognize this guy from down your block, gays.
Yeah. And then it says, well, of course Dahmer did it because he's gay. That's what that's saying. Yeah, of course you take it off.
Well, it says that's a gay movie because gay people died, or like there's a gay character. Now it's gay.
Right. Yeah.
Gays, come one, come all. There's gay shit in here.
Picard wrote regarding the last show we did, where I talked about my dad every New Year's, he would put honey on my forehead in the shape of a cross, garlic on his thumb that we had to suck off. In case it sounds like I'm being dramatic, we did just try to use our teeth after we learned we don't want the thumb on our lips. It would be that like garlic that he would mince it like, so it's like watery and shit, and so you had to scrape it off the thumb. And I remember talking to my brother Ken about this, and he's like, well, it's a tradition thing. And I'm like, from where? Google it.
I would like to ask if they had garlic in the Jesus times.
Well, Picard wrote, honey on the forehead is a thing in Eastern Europe. Sometimes you dip garlic in the honey. Sucking garlic off your father's thumb is a new one. And then a bunch of people, barely half our listeners are from Eastern Europe, because they're also like, yeah, there's no such fucking thing.
I'll tell you
the
how.
ultimate kiss the ring. He became a priest. I think we all know this by now. So that you kiss the ring. Bowing in front of him was bowing in front of him. Not to God. We know him by now. It was to my dad. You were kissing my dad's ring. Well, now he can't do that anymore. So what's another thing that he can symbolize that you're his bitch? Suck my thumb off.
I agree. If he could have made you guys kneel without somebody raising an eyebrow or thinking he went too far, he would have absolutely done it. And if he could have made you kiss a ring, I think he knew where your mom's line was, He
would have had plans. He had a church in his basement, party of one, him. No one would go. And I think it would have been too much for my mom if he made us go. But I guarantee he had great plans of giving us the communion in our mouth and us thanking him. And we're thanking God, but again, we're thanking him, and that he would have came to that.
I could see him going, like, as he's giving you communion, making up that he says, with great power, and you guys go, comes great responsibility, Father. And you can only call him Father in that room. Right. And for the rest of the time, you can call him Dad or any variation of it.
Yeah, and there's 5 of us siblings. So naturally, somebody, when this time comes around, is going to be mad at my dad. But let's all grow up, Mallies. It's thumb sucking time. Picture you're pissed off and you got to suck off a thumb. Dad, you wouldn't let me go to this party. You never let me go anywhere. I know, but it's dinner time. Suck my thumb off.
But picture you're not pissed off. Now you got to suck your dad's thumb.
And I remember...
God, at least you weren't in Catholic school outfits at the same time. Oof.
That they tried, but garage sales didn't sell matching outfits.
He would make you probably, if he had money, he would make you wear a uniform that he made up that you all have to wear at the same time to go to his church.
Yes.
And that's why we don't have more of a congregation, because you need to have this outfit.
And he would make us, he would, if we went to his church, he'd make us arrive early. Meaning we'd be upstairs and he's like, get ready for church. Like, yeah, I'm ready. I'll just go down when you go down. You should be ready for the priest when he comes down.
Mimi Cherry's writing in, Dad, can I borrow the car? Dad starts to wipe his hands. Here we go, son. Disgusting.
He dips his whole hand in smashed garlic.
Ugh.
Let's talk. I remember being a kid and he would go to, this is written in the Dead Emails books also, but he would go to wake us up when we were kids for school, 6:30 a.m. We didn't have alarm clocks. We jumped out of bed, it felt like, right before he was about to touch us. Now, I don't know anything else.
Like, meaning you woke up at that time, too.
I woke up like, no, don't touch. But I don't remember anything else sexually. I really don't think anything else sexually happened. But I didn't like this light touch so much. I was, ugh. Now, I know it sounds like I could be in denial, but there's nothing that makes me think, other than what I'm telling you now about thumb sucking and light touching, that there was something sexual. But why was I so skeeved out?
Well, I think why does a stranger's hand on your lap matter? You know, why does a massage on the shoulder matter? Why does it matter when somebody...
He would do that too. I hated that.
Why does it matter?
Us buddies again. I get this shoulder rub.
And he's the one who watched that don't sexually harass video, and they showed a guy massaging a woman's shoulder. Yeah, and he's like, why is that a bad thing?
Why is that so bad? And I'm like, because the show is telling you it's bad. Because it's a commercial that's only selling morality. It's not for the Church of Jesus Christ. It's not to sell you Coca-Cola. It's some lawsuit that companies lost, and then a company gets money to say, hey, guys at home, stop doing this creepy behavior. How about you sit down and think about it and explain it to me the next morning? Not right away go, I doubt it. I think it's a commercial. Obviously, it's horrible acting. The guy's a creep. He's drooling like Boss Hogg. The secretary is moving around like, I really wish he wouldn't touch me and comment on my skirt. How can't you tell it's all bad because they're telling you it's bad?
This is really funny that you believe that he really thought that this wasn't bad. There is no way. What he's doing is, I do that. And he knows it's a manipulation because he hated you and all of your siblings. So so when he touched you like that, it was not from love. It was from control and dominance and fake, that fake touching where it's like, my boy, because that puts him in that. So none of that is good touching. Of course, he's looking at other good touching and going like, people need to get over it when you're trying to manipulate them and disguising it with love. So that's what he's really saying. He's not going like, I don't see. He's not stupid in that way. He's a dumb fuck, thank God, because then otherwise he'd be like so much more dangerous.
Yeah, he did do that kind of touching, like my boy, and I like on the shoulder. It's like we're not getting along. We're not.
How did I know that?
Fighting, but we're not getting along. And so even when that time I didn't see my mom because he was going to be there, and some of the siblings were like, "Come on, it's mom." Well, she doesn't even know we're here. Quite frankly, she has dementia. So I'm not gonna let her see my dad after we had all these email adventures. Put my hand on my shoulder and I'm going to take it like I am his boy. No, I'll be like, we're adults now. Get the fuck off me. Do you want me to say that in front of mom?
Yeah, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, of course he
does. He knows that's not real affection.
Right. I was Aaliyah Janine was going to be on the other day and she couldn't make it. And I set aside this little part of the Dead Emails book that she was part of that I was going to go over. And it feels like it kind of goes with this. But I see in it, by the way, I'm very excited about this book, the Dead Emails book, right? Everybody knows what this is by now. My dad wrote my ex-wife behind my back, so my ex-wife gave me this letter and said, what? And then I said, can I be you? And she said, what? But then she said, okay, happy birthday. And I started being my ex to my dad, who then would be I'd say, Dad, I know everything, actually. And he's like, there's things you don't know. I'm like, I was Kat. You got a hard on for me. You hit on me. There's emails you don't know about. Like, well, that's
He's
impossible.
he's emailing fake Cat, which means he's emailing you,
Right.
telling you, "Hey, I think Keith is on to us."
Kat
Like
even
it
joked the
came.
other day. She goes, "Do you want to see those other emails that your dad did that we did have on the side?" What the
That's
fuck?
so funny.
Because now would be
she,
poor timing. You just finished your book, but
she has such a good sense of
yeah,
humor. No, she wouldn't tell you now. She's going to do the follow up. She's
right,
writing her own fucking book.
right.
Why I got away from the Malleys?
I talked to. This is me writing to my dad. I talked to Kat, and I'm playing dumb, of course. I talked to Kat, and I guess your correspondence was by email. She'll be trapped. Not that this makes any sense what I sent. She'll be traveling, but when she gets back, she said she can send them to me. That's how email works for her. You know, she's Irish and shit. I look forward to discussing it with you. Thanks. And my dad wrote back at the time, when I know you know, I can then discuss it with you. This deep
Mm-mm-mm.
topic that, he's alluding to that you don't know what it is. Prove and then spoiler, I proved that I know, and it was never discussed, of course. I wrote in this book, I knew that if, in the future, I told him that the relationship between him and my ex-wife needs to be explained, that he'd respond with, tell me each individual thing that's bothering you. And you know these people. And he thinks he's smart enough to explain away each little thing. These tricksters love that technique, as though each little thing can be half explained if you really reach, and it isn't part of a big connected picture. It's also the way they don't share information that you hopefully don't already have. You're just hoping, I think, well, there's no way she sent you all the emails. You're just hoping on that. And then I'm just like, well, Dad, here, look, here's a book of all of it. Still things you don't know. Well, that's impossible. I'm sorry. I have to keep my word to people that I just made up.
Right. It's almost like, hey,
How can we ever be friends?
hey, you're always late. No, I was on time
Right.
that one year. It's like, okay, big picture here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not even like even there's some at least that person's on time once. Like I remember being with an ex and we had a fight and I think it was over dishes. I didn't do dishes right or something. And I'm like, first of all, I'm the only one who does the dishes. And it's like, that is not true. And that became a point of contention because coincidentally they did dishes 3 days ago. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. But even these two examples aren't the same as my dad's, which is 100% bullshit. There's nothing, even my brother's saying, well, it must have come from a tradition, sucking dad's thumb. Like, no, you don't have to give these people an inch because they made up the whole mile.
Yeah.
Like
maybe I remember Mike Kaplan in this book. He goes, but what if your dad is just trying to learn more about you? And I was like, what? And we're comfortable with this way of doing it? Like in any way, in any manner, as long as my dad wants to know about me, any way to know about me is good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, right. Normal people, they get nervous like they're going to be taken wrong somehow.
Yeah.
Like I remember shitting on Pat Dix and Christian Finnegan wasn't defending Pat at all, but he's like, when you go after somebody, you really go after them. And what if that could happen to me? I'm like, are you grabbing my intern's asshole? What is the surprise that can happen to you? What do you do that's relatable to anything these people do? And he's like, yeah, you're right. I know I am.
Mimi Cherry is writing, and it's mind-blowing to me that I learned about triangulating in relationships as abusive because of the dad emails.
Right.
So she learned about triangulation.
How do you define it? It sounds sexual.
I think how do I define it? I probably Google it so I don't, just say whatever I want, but I see it as you're giving, it's a triangle. So you form a triangle between two people and you're giving person A just enough information to start a defense against person B, who you're giving just enough information so that these two people can stay in confusion and argument so that it deflects from whatever fuck stupid thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it makes sense in this case for sure. Absolutely. Just a little bit. And yeah, and you hope they make up the rest. There doesn't have to be truth in everything. And people like to think like, well, there's a little bit of truth. What does that mean by that? Because there's a little bit of truth. Sometimes there's no truth. And we can recognize that.
I mean, sometimes the truth doesn't matter. Like, yes, we were still on Earth while you were doing that. So, yes, you were truth.
I wrote, former adult film star and comedian Elia Janine joined us. Between her degree in psychology and then parentheses, I wrote real psychology, not parapsychology. One of my dad's 10 doctorates. And knowing the wily ways of men, maybe she can help shed some light on this darkness. And Aaliyah said, are you the youngest or? And I said, second to oldest. She said, second to oldest. Okay. And I said, yeah, that's usually when they pretend to fuck their dad. Anyway, here's where we're at in the story. But she helped explain a little bit of the what goes on in the brain.
Well, Ryan V, who's also listening live, is saying, title of Keith's book, 2 Mallies, 1 Yuck.
At one point, Dad wrote to me, to Kat, when Kat said, hey, I think Keith knows something. Either you told him that we emailed each other or it was a good guess on his part.
Wow, defending himself already.
But he brought up to me a tease because he needed me to know he knows something I don't. He's the one who teased that this was going on.
This book becomes more and more petty on your dad's part. Yeah. After he defends himself and tries to triangulate and all of this shit, finally, when you send the emails to him, like, hey, look, here's proof, here's the paperwork, here's receipts, all of this shit.
He has the full book now as a PDF. He has the full book.
Yeah, and you've given him, a couple of chances to look at it. Then later, after time passes, it's one more time, and he goes, you know what? Do you even know what ex-wife is? What do you care what I did with your ex-wife? Right. And it's like, you're still married, you dumb shit.
And he wrote that to all the siblings. I just got you to admit you sent the code red.
Right, and also, do you know what ex-wife means? If that's my ex-wife, you're the ex-father-in-law. You mean even less. Yeah. You're also an ex here, dum-dum.
Right. At one point, we talk about how my dad brought up to Kat. Do you remember he was at a wedding? He was at our wedding, and supposedly he told her, I had a talk with your dad, and your dad said you weren't ready. And I said, I think these two people are ready.
That's so stupid.
And I'm fighting for the two of you to get back together again. And Leah brought up this point I didn't think about. It's manipulation. It's to gain trust. It's to be like, oh, you're on my side. It's still flirting. You're still trying to get with her. But it's like, hey, I'll say whatever it takes for you can believe in me, pal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's when my friend Adam said, that's it, Dad. Strike 10. You're out. Beth wrote, I'm looking at this book. I keep thinking Dad Malley couldn't get any worse, but I don't know why I think that. Because you're human. Because you're a human being. That's why you think that. Chemda said, are you upset that your mom's the one with dementia? And I'm like, yeah, I think I could use a smidge. Yes, absolutely. Here's a letter from FS. After hearing Keith's tales of his friend tour, it made me think of my buddy coming to visit. I visited Adam Brown in Fire Island, and that taught me maybe I can do some things on my own sometimes. My girlfriend couldn't make it. And then I'm like, all right, let me go on a tour here. I go to see, what actually happened? I went to see Brother Love. He said, yeah, stay for a week. I get there. I went, hey, is a week too long? And he goes, thank God you said that because I didn't tell my wife you're fucking coming. All right, this is the way I'm deducing it, but we'll ask him on the show coming up soon. So then I'm like, all right, let me change some tickets, only stay a couple days. Then he said, are you staying for football Sunday? Because that'd be fun. I'm like, you motherfucker, I'll burn this house down right now. No, I'm not. I'm going to Chicago to see my brother last minute. Went to Chicago, Ken Malley hosted, and then I'm going to L.A. in October to see my friend Craig. After hearing about Keith's friend tour, I've known my friend for a long time, but I'm not used to hosting anyone in my house. I live in a small city that has some walking options, and I have a spare bedroom for my friend, no kids. Keith, do you have a best host rules list? And can you list some good guest options? Also, in case my friend is listening. Oh, that's good. Let them know. Signed FS. What could that say? Fart in my sleep. All right. So I'm looking at a poll that we have. Keith, I think it's so funny, by the way. If people think, does Keith know how obnoxious he sounds? Yes, I do. Who will be my best host? Craig has a chance of beating everybody. Everybody else already did their best.
You know what's interesting about this is this high on my horse, I'm
Yes.
sitting on a throne. This attitude of yours of yes, now I'm not only going to crash at my friend's place, but I have paperwork. Like now
Right.
I
I'm
already am
reporting how they
predicting.
did.
Oh yeah, yeah, everything's going in the files, all of this shit. And what's interesting about that is it is creating a response that is saying, "Hey Keith, come to here. I live over here. I have a spare bedroom."
Mhm.
So now people want to be judged to
Because they
be
know because they know that I judge fairly. Brother Love didn't tell his wife. That's minus a lot of points. But at the same time, he took me to a rehearsal. You feel special. I see him live on stage. That's a hoot.
it's more like if you can host Keith, you can host anyone, you know? It's
But with that said, I think I'm an
it's
easy guest.
it's like New York. If you can make it here. Yes, New York is fantastic.
Right.
It has everything. But
Just
if you
ask
can
your question though, or move. I'm busy.
exactly.
Like that. Yeah, sure. I get it.
Okay, so you actually have a list of how to be a good host. Greg, are you
I'll have
listening?
I'll have to think about that. But I will say, who will be the best host? What did the audience vote? Adam Brown is at 27% right now.
And Craig is second.
Now he was a lot of fun. Kids were running around, but it doesn't bother me per se. But at the same time, I'd rather people weren't crying around me, and a dad had to take care of it. I'd rather that didn't happen. But he walked me everywhere on the beach, even though the beach was 5 minutes all the way around.
Oh,
I
he
didn't
walked you
get
to the
lost.
beach?
He walked me everywhere. Sure, he knows I wouldn't find my way back. That was sweet. We connected, meaning we talked about the personal issues. I like talking about deep shit. Yeah. So you got 27%. Brother Love got 0%. Ken
Wow.
Malley 18%. I loved Ken's electric bike, but I didn't like that, quite frankly. Even though he put out a scheduled list, we have to do this at this time, that at that time. Some of them were $50 down payments for a dinner. I'm the one who paid for everything. That costs a lot of points.
Now
Not a
can
thank you. Not a thank you. That's what cost the points. Not a thank you. And I worry that sounds petty, but you notice it the first time, you really notice it the second time, and your third time, you're like, oh, this is assumed, and it's fine. I'm staying at your place. It's sincerely fine, but it makes me wonder if you know that money was exchanged.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's like someone's treating you. What's an appropriate response? You don't want to be like, thank you. And then you like send like that amount of money and
Right.
flowers the next
Right.
day. And it's like, well, now I got to take you out again to make up for those flowers. And this is never ending. And no one's really thanking each other. We're all just trying to like get even again.
And you also never know what's going to take points away and what's not going to take points away. He did buy, I guess because I'm from New York, a cheesecake. Got it from the Cheesecake Factory. It's some kind of shit raspberry in it. It was horrible. But okay, that's a nice gesture. But he's like, oh, I thought we were going to like eat the cake all week together or something. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. And he goes, oh, it's $60. I'm like, I don't owe you that.
Now, okay, so I like this point system. I think it's fair. I think like everyone knows who they're inviting over to their house. And I'm gonna vote for Craig, right? I think Craig's gonna do a fantastic job.
Craig is at 55%
I get why. I get why.
because it didn't
But
happen.
yeah, but I would like to take away a half a star if we're basing it on a 5-star system, not because I'm not voting for Craig, not because I think he won't do a good job, but because this is unfair. Craig has 2 weeks of, and now you're giving a list of how to be a good host. Like, brother love, you were calling from the airport going like, is it cool if I come over? I know you live in a different state. And he's like, yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be cool. And then like adults came in and go, like, okay, you didn't schedule playtime, but I guess, sure.
Is he losing a point because it's not fair? He has so much more time, or is he losing a point because he has so much more time? Will he take advantage of it? And how could he? He can't.
I think he can because just from this conversation, he knows to say thank you if you pay for anything. We know you're like, look at this. Mimi Cherry's writing it again. Make it a Kickstarter level. Keith will come to your house and score you as a host. It's Hunger Games of best friends hosting between Craig and Adam.
Well, I'll answer this guy farts in my sleep. I think The way I would want to be a host is the same way want. It's the same way I would want me acting if I was a guest. And you ask me, hey, you want to do something today? I'm okay if you say no. And then if you have an idea, say it. You're okay if I say no. We do it or we don't. We watch TV or if we don't. You're on a phone call. I go to the other room. No questions asked. You insist on me staying if you want me to hear your phone call. That's it. And promise yourself that I'm fine. I'm working on something in the room. I'm just laying there. I'm not feeling like I'm wasting my time. To me, the vacation is not being in front of my home computer, is not being access to newspapers. That's the vacation. You're a bonus. You're a big bonus.
Okay, I think a good question is food. Because when I go to, let's say, my brother's places, they go, we're going to go to the supermarket anyway. You're not taking us out of the way. What can we pick you up? We're going to, like, let's say, Trader Joe's, Costco, whatever they say, or like, what are you these days? Mostly meat or whatever. What do you think? Should the fridge be somewhat stocked for the person coming over?
No. It's
not
it's unnecessary. It's sweet. If you do it, it's unnecessary. When I get there, we'll go somewhere to eat, or we'll go to the grocery store together. Let us go together so that I pay things for you too. And that's it. You don't know what I like. Apparently, how the fuck would you know?
I like going to the grocery store together. I didn't really think of that.
Yeah.
Because then, yeah, you could pay for it. And it's like I did feel bad. One time I went over to my brother's Andrew while he was living in San Francisco. And his wife was wonderful. Like, what could we bring for you? And they're vegetarian household. So I kept it vegetarian, not a problem, from Trader Joe's. I said, I usually get this, 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 and this. And it happened to be, I didn't eat most of it because we're out with the kids and you guys made food and blah, blah, blah. And I felt so bad. Now they have the stuff that I like in their fridge. You got to get, like, that's not a thing, right?
Yeah, and then what? Like, what am I going to ask? You don't want to be specific, or you're an asshole, I think. So, we just hoping for the orange juice you like? Well, it's got to be fresh orange juice, and not Tropicana. It's somehow legally saying it's fresh orange juice. Freshly squeezed, only one ingredient. Well, you should be in prison. And why did my friend buy that? Now my friend's an idiot. He wasted money, and I didn't get what I wanted. No, we'll go together.
So what about if people ask you, what do you want? So, yeah, I guess if you're willing to go as a fun thing to the supermarket. Okay.
Yeah, or I can also go by myself to the supermarket.
Okay.
I can realize that it's too far to walk and lower score for your town, I suppose, but...
Does your town score affect your personal score as a host?
Yes, it does.
Oh,
yes.
shit. Okay.
Just
But you are the one who
bit.
opted to go there.
Sure, yeah.
Well, you got to go there to see them, right?
Well, I'll tell you what. Like, Brother Love doesn't live in town, which is just party central. I wouldn't really care. But you do need a car to go places. But I arrived at his house first. He says, here, the keys to the house are over here, and the keys to the car, if you want, are over here. And I'm like, all right, you just forgave the shitty city points.
I see.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. All that's noted.
Will there be scored cards? They're asking in the chat.
That'd be an asshole move, right?
Oh, that's where the line. Okay.
That'd be. You got to live in the moment. You got to live in the moment.
Birdie saying she gets dietary restrictions and riff on that for the refrigerator.
Also, she cleans like under the sink faucet in case she thinks Mary Poppins is going to come by and judge the house. So that's different. She's above and beyond is the way I understand it.
Okay, how about this? Ryan V is saying, Keith and Chemda, if you're staying at a friend's place and they leave you home alone because they had to do something without you, how long before you start snooping?
Never.
I don't even want to know the things that you don't want me to know.
If it's on a shelf, I look through it. I might take a book off a shelf or something like that and look at it.
Sure,
better.
That's on a shelf. That's like look at this.
Yeah.
No,
I don't open drawers or anything.
No, I used to open people's, like, in the bathroom. I used to open their cabinet in there, but I don't even like to do that. I don't even want to know. I don't know. No,
Right.
thanks. Make
Yeah.
conversation if you want me to know about any medications you're taking. Happy to know, happy to not know.
And then I
No.
feel like I got to, now I'm invested in your disease. I'm like,
Right.
did you take your foot cream today?
But like you didn't tell me you had cancer. I don't,
Right.
is there something I should
Are you
know?
holding it for a friend? I don't know the story.
Yeah.
No,
Do you count your Vicodins? I don't know.
But with that said, I do hide in an old Vicodin bottle. I put stool softener, and I put that in my cabinet in case anybody wants to snoop and take.
That's lovely. That's such friends you're inviting over. Keith is like a cat in terms of a house guest, and we all think he's a dog.
Yes. That's what it is. But I don't scratch you.
But you still got to be walked. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you need attention sometimes. I mean, goodness.
Well, I hope those are good. I mean, let us know if you agree with the hosting terms and the visiting terms.
I mean, if you have rules where, like, with you and your friends, where it's understood, somebody started it wrong and now you're stuck and you have to stock the fridge and guests on, I can make whatever I want without nuts, then that's the way you live. To me, that'd be too much. Part of me likes the idea that I paid for all the dinners with Ken. Because come to New York. We'll do whatever you want. Go ahead, pick it. Done.
There's
Done.
no
Broadway?
way.
Broadway first fucking class. Let's go.
You're never going to just stand there and let him pay.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, well. Here's a letter over here. Subject, am I crazy to be mad at this? My wife and I have been together 13 years.
Yes, you should be mad. Just kidding.
Why wouldn't you be? Nothing came up in 13 years. We make a comfortable living and do fun things like dinners out, vacations, etc. I bring this up because she doesn't want me to go on a specific upcoming vacation. My longtime friend is getting married. To me, she's jealous. My longtime friend is getting married. A group of us have known each other since high school and are planning his bachelor party in Vegas. He wanted it there. Here's some statistics. I'm 44 years old. Yes, everyone else will be cheating on their wives.
Oh my God. What? Wait, these are the statistics?
You know your friends.
Oh
But
my God.
Then writes, no, I do not cheat.
Okay.
Yes, I want to drink too much for the weekend and throw up if I need to.
Okay.
We have the money for it. This is more about her not wanting me to hang out with the guys as a bad influence. Yeah, this is your fault. You told your wife too many secrets. Hey,
Wow,
it's funny.
Keith.
Johnny did
Oh,
cheat.
is this where we're starting from?
I'm
Wow.
just telling you. And then you
Okay.
can't go on an honest vacation. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
You lied to your friend saying you wouldn't share the story. Where's the bad? We both listened to the show and decided to let the two of you decide. My
Oh
wife,
shit! What the fuck?
Yeah. So
Sorry,
I hope they're sitting down. And he told you secrets.
Oh my
Now
God.
you're using them against them.
Right. Actually, no, I see your point on that now. Yeah. Okay.
He didn't cheat. He just told you in private his friends are pieces of shit. But
Right.
he's not married to him, so what does he care?
Meaning, like, I believe that we will be together because I'm telling you, like, this shit.
Yeah.
This is like
Yeah.
way none of your business.
My wife KC's points, Kansas City. This is stupid. You're too old for this. These friends are assholes. You're going to have a heart attack. Why are you even friends with them? These are some good points. Well, first of all, this is stupid is not a good point. And you're too old
Well-
for this is not a good point. These friends are assholes, I guess, is a good point. You're going to have a heart attack is not a good point. It doesn't sound like he does this all the time. Why are you even friends with them is a funny point.
Well, you're going to have a heart attack, meaning because your body's not used to it, you're going to be the one who has the heart attack. Where these guys are used to lying to their wives, drinking too much,
I
so,
see.
right? Like,
Right.
you're the one who's going to be like having that hard time.
Right.
But he has a good point. He wants to like kind of old school party for a minute.
He says,
Throw up if he needs.
What do you think signed DJ? I have to assume that's short for disc jockey. You know DJs invented that name disc jockey for themselves, right? Like, what do you do? I'm in the record rodeo. Like, okay, disc jockey. Okay. Anyways, I would think just let him do it. I would say let him do it because I don't know. I don't see why you want. He's still friends enough with these guys, and he hasn't been doing bad shit because he knows these guys. I don't think there's a difference. I think it's just the stigma around it. What do you think, Chemda?
I am pretty much uh, almost always going to say, let that person do it, whatever that thing is. You can fill in any, I don't know, they want to do it. And now, like, let him go and throw up and remember how much throwing up feels like. Because it
Yes.
sounds so good. It sounds so good to try to stay up all night when you're 44 with a bunch of fucking animals. It sounds so good to give away $1,000 to a stripper by accident because you didn't realize what the pricing was for her to keep dancing and giggling. It sounds so fun to be exhausted and eat steak and then promptly throw it up in the bathroom while you're in the same restaurant. Go, let him be, let him have that. It's, if he's either cheating or not, and because his friends are cheating, that doesn't necessarily mean it. And also, as I understand what bad influence is, it's not bad influence. What it is there's a part of him that's like these monkey friends. And I know that you don't want to elevate that part of him, but he's got there's something in him. They're not a bad influence. He is like that a little bit. So I don't know. I don't see how one adult can tell another adult, I don't want you to go. And that's that. I don't see how. I don't see like that weekend. How much fun are you going to have?
Right. Yeah, let him. That's the point. Let him go. He's not. He's kind of stupid. He's not even gonna have fun. But
So he's going to miss out with these friends. Like, he's already making choices to like kind of stay out of the infidelity and whatever. Like, I don't know. They just go and do it. Give a budget. If you trust that he'll stay on it, you guys sound like you know how to budget. Seems fair. How would you ever though? Like, let's say you didn't, what could you say to Kyle? Like what trip? She's going to Iraq and has to wear fatigue to tell jokes.
Well, that you can do. You're all covered up. I don't let her go anywhere sunny, but in a good way.
Yeah. Like at what point do you go, I don't like your friends and you drink too much when you're around them and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
It sounds like he barely sees them. That's what it sounds like. But I don't know if I'm making that up.
Yeah, it sounds like that. I think it sounds like that because otherwise every time he's with them, he comes home like this, or every time. I think it's like, oh, this guy's getting married and they have an excuse to do something stupid and their wives can't raise an eyebrow at it,
If you brought up a friend, what are these names again? QT? If you brought up a friend, QT, the female, would you, if you brought up a bachelorette party, would he find that odd? And if he finds that odd, is that because he is one of these creeps? Or would he have a problem with you going? Would he say, no, it's a Chippendales? I don't like that. Would that be a problem? To me, that's the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can go, then I can go. Or like, I'm not saying like tit for tat. I'm saying the same comfort level that you feel might be my comfort level.
I mean, I'm not saying I have it all figured out. I saw Kyle just the other day, and she said, "Oh, I said, oh, you look good," and she said, "Oh, I feel ugly," and that's so fucking stupid because that's an insult to me. So we got to get over that. I'm sitting there with somebody who's ugly.
Yeah, we do have to get over your toxic masculinity statements.
Let's grow our YouTube channel. How about that, everybody? If you like Keith and the Girl, hit like on our YouTube channel. You have something to say? Hit the comment button. Not sure you know what button to press? Hit them all. It's not science. Who gives a fuck? Joke. Hit them, though. It matters. Really helps Keith and the Girl growing and going on. All right? That's it. info@keithandthegirl.com is how you can send in your emails. keithandthegirl.com/forums. And at Reddit is where you can see our polls and comment. And that's that. And we'll talk to you soon.
KeithandTheGirl.com